Hello ladies and gents and everything between outside of it, I'm Sophia and welcome back to a new video. So today we're going to do something that I do every month. It's a very easy thing. I'm just going to be showing you the books that I've read this month, what I thought of them. But this time it's actually June and July. I just read a really small amount in June because I had my end of year tests. So I just decided to wait and do it all in one video because otherwise it would be a very short video. I'm just pulling out my Goodreads so that I don't say anything that I don't mean. So we're first going to be talking about the books that I read in June, and that are these two. I'll obviously start with the first book that I read in June, and that is Eenie, Meenie by MJ Artledge. This is part of the Helen Gray series, and if you haven't been following me for that long, then you wouldn't know that I've been trying to collect this entire series secondhand. But this is the first book because I first read like the seventh part because they're all like different cases each book, but you could technically read them standalone, but they make more sense if you read them in order. So I decided to start with the first book, and I ended up giving this 4 stars because I still really liked it, but it didn't hit as much as the other book did that I read first, but still really well written. The chapters are extremely short, like some of them are literally like 1 to 3 pages, like it's so short. Yeah, I just enjoyed this. Like there's nothing much to say. Yeah, it was just like the writing was nice. It kept me hooked. I was extremely intrigued like the entire time. It was like it's a pretty thick book. It's like almost 500 pages. So I it took me a while to get through because like also like if you just see a book and you're like maybe like this far, then you're not very like excited to pick it up because you still have to get through all of this. Yeah, that was the first book. Moving on to the next and last book I read in June. I read 2 books. I mean, can you blame me? Like the entire month I was either studying for my tests or like taking every chance to hang out with my friends. Yeah, so the next book that I read was It Ends With Us. I finally read It Ends With Us, and I was surprised how quickly I got through this. I always get really quickly through Colleen Hoover books, and I'm one of the people that does like Colleen Hoover's writing. Are there some parts where I'm like, Colleen, why did you write that? Absolutely, especially that one part in Ugly Love, if you know what I'm talking about. They're just easy to read, easy to get through, and I like the writing, and I like the stories, and like everyone was telling me I'm gonna cry, it's so good. I didn't cry. I just didn't cry. Like, I can understand why you would cry, and I understand why some people would absolutely be bawling their eyes out. But I think it's definitely, if you had, like, experience with the topic of the book, which is domestic abuse, then I understand that it might hit a bit harder. But for me, it was more like, it's extremely upsetting, but it's not going to make me cry. I still really liked it. It still made me feel a lot of emotions. There were definitely times where I was like, I think I'm going to cry. Like, I was tearing up, but I wasn't like, okay, now I'm going to be bawling my eyes out. But I am extremely excited for It Starts With Us because it's also kind of fun to read this before that comes out because otherwise it would be a bit awkward. I kind of want to tie up my hair. Should I tie up my hair? Let's tie up my hair. I don't know why. Recently I just prefer my hair tied up. I think it's because it's kind of getting at like an awkward stage and it just like sits in my neck and it's like, I don't know, it just like sits there but not like in a comfortable way, so it makes me uncomfortable. So now we're going to be moving on to July. The first book that I read is Shatami. Also have a reading vlog on this, but you're not going to be very happy with my reaction because I didn't love it. I gave it 2.5 stars. I ran it up to 3 in Goodreads because a 2 felt very low because I still liked it, but majority of the book I was so close to DNFing it. So like good halfway through the book I was like, okay, now I'm actually getting interested. Like now I'm actually like excited and intrigued to see where this goes, and that just took a bit too long for me. And I'm not really used to reading like dystopian books and stuff, and I was only really reading this for the romance. Like if I'm gonna be honest, I just couldn't be bothered. This might hurt some of you, but it just felt really cringe to me. I know it's like a YA book. It seemed like, because it's like in the book I think she's like 15 or 16, and I was like, there's no way that she actually thinks like that she uses those words to describe her feelings in her head. Like I don't believe that. Eventually throughout the book they got a bit better, maybe because I started to like the characters more as well. And then, I liked the ending. I was satisfied, but just because it took me so long to get through and I was like so close to DNFing a book. I've only DNF'd a book I think maybe like twice, and one was a reread. But now here's my problem. Everywhere, I'm telling you, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, I've been seeing things about like the Shatami series, and now I'm getting more intrigued because I see stuff and I'm like, well, how does that tie in with this book, because that doesn't make any sense from only like the stuff that I know. But then I'm like, do I actually want to go through and read all of that, or am I just intrigued and just kind of want to look it up on Google and just leave it? So I'm not going to look it up for just a while, but if I'm eventually like 100% sure that I don't want to continue the series, because it's a lot, because I have a lot of novellas in between as well. So then the next book that I read in July is truly devious. I'm so happy I finally read this, and I really enjoyed it. And the thing is, I went to England, right? I have a massive book haul of that. If you haven't watched it, go watch that. But I said the entire time, when I go to England, I'll buy the rest of the series, or when I go to England, I'll buy the rest of the series. I forgot to buy even the second part, so I still can't know what happens, because basically it's a series and you need to read the entire series to actually find out what happens. Like, it leaves you just on a cliffhanger. Like, after like a good like 430 pages, it leaves you on a cliffhanger. And I realized in the car when we were on our way home. But I gave this 4 stars. I gave it 4 stars on Goodreads, but I think I'm gonna give it 4.5 because I really liked it. It had me intrigued, and I just love the main character. I don't know why, but she's just really like well written, and I think she's really relatable. And this is a YA mystery, so you know that's always really nice. It took me quite a while to get through this because I think it's like the writing is very descriptive, and that takes me like a bit longer to get through than the dialogue. Yeah, no, I cannot wait to continue the series, and I actually might have to spend all my money and buy it here because we're not going back to England for a while. But yeah, no, I recommend. I like it a lot. But yeah, that was that. Death of a Gossip. And this book, Truly Devious, is in a little summer reading vlog that I did, so if you want to check that out, can. Yeah, Death of a Gossip, it is a Hamish Macbeth mystery. These are literally so short. They're like 200, not even 200 pages. And look how big that font is. But yeah, no, I just wanted something really easy to read, just something that I could easily get through. It was really easy. I gave it 3 stars because it's not like anything special, but I still enjoy it. I still enjoyed it. I still was a bit like shocked at the end. There was still like a little bit like an oh factor. It's not like extremely predictable or anything. Yeah, I don't have much to say about this because it's like such easy book that there's not that much to say. It's just easy to read, easy to get through. Then the next book that I read in July is The Roommate, and I started reading this, and only like 50 pages in I found out that this is actually like this one with this cover, because I'd seen that one all over like Bookstagram and TikTok and stuff like that, but not this cover. And now this cover is starting to pop up, but like then I was like, oh, because I saw about it and I was like kind of intrigued, but I was like, am I gonna read it? And then I picked this up at the works. I turned out to be this one, and I actually really liked it. I think I'm gonna give this 3.5 stars, rounded to a 4, because it is, I don't know, I really enjoyed it. And then like kind of because this is very open doors. Like, there's a lot of spy scenes. The whole point of the book is kind of like sex and women feeling pleasure in sex, and that shouldn't be something that we should be ashamed of. That's kind of the main topic of the book, but then there's a lot of spy scenes. A lot. I think there's like more spice than there's dialogue. I'm not gonna lie to you. But yeah, so then like kind of like halfway through the book I was like, okay, this is maybe a bit like a lot of spice. Can we skip to like maybe something romantic? And then immediately after that it was like just so cute. Like, it was like wholesome and a lot of romance, and just like, I don't know, and then it warmed my heart, and then the end, I was just so happy, and I don't know why, I was so extremely like satisfied. This is cute. Warning though, you think, oh, it's only like 300 pages. Yeah, the font is pretty small. It's pretty small. It took me a while to get through because I was like, oh, it's not that many pages, and then I don't know, it took me a while, but I was in a rush, so I didn't mind. But yeah. Next book that I read is The Summer I Turned Pretty. Finally, I read this, okay? Guys, are you guys proud of me? Are you guys proud of me? Because this took me a goddamn while. This is my favorite cover, and it just took me so long to find this cover. But there will be a reading vlog on this. It will be a compare and contrast video. If you haven't been following me, I do this thing where I compare and contrast the book and the adaptation. So that's coming sooner than you think. Yeah, no, I really like this. I flew through this. Like, I read this literally in a day. Like, I started it the night before, and then like in the day after that evening I finished it. Like, it literally took me a day. Like, it was so good, and it was so easy to read. It was really nice because it's like a summer read. Was the sun shining when I read this? No, but it doesn't really matter. I just thought it was extremely cute, and yeah, no, I had like fun reading this. Like, I was like, oh yeah, no, I'm only gonna read this one. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I want the rest of the series now. It's 4.5 stars for me, I think. I haven't rated it. I finished this like 2 days ago. Don't hold it against me. I'm not sure yet, but just check my Goodreads. Eventually it'll be up. But those were all the books that I read in June and July. I hope you enjoyed today's video. It was very simple, something that I do every month. Nice and basic. I hope you got some recommendations, and if you have any recommendations for me, please let me know. If you're still watching, comment the angel wing emoji if there's an emoji for that, otherwise just the angel. I'm not really sure, but this emoji that's in the screen, if you're still watching, so I know, if you're still watching and if you finished the entire video, because then I know that you actually like me. That was all, and I'll see you when I see you. Bye.